Yeah, I'm not too happy.
Really,
about
when you
either,
turn
mate,
it,
let's
when you go landscape, you don't see us.
It's because it's on my
Wonder
telephone. It's on the telephone, and then it gets covered up, and it's just a bit weird. Yeah.
I guess before we get into any sort of like real stuff here, I got a complaint for you, Mike, and I'm not happy about this. I put my sweet Billiard Digest magazine hanging up there, and look what happened. It gets droopy. How can you not have more rigid front covers on your magazine?
We were thinking of going hardcover with every issue, but
is this the kind of product that you're putting out? Look how droopy that is. You know, I can't even hang this thing up here.
It's made of toilet paper.
Are you kidding me?
It's made to frame. You're supposed to frame it and stick it up there. You're supposed to frame it.
It's made of toilet paper. You didn't know this, no?
That is the kind of product that you're getting with Billiards Digest. Droopy front covers.
It's not meant to be read standing up.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And it's still the best out there. So that'll tell you people that, you know.
It's the only one. Last remaining standing print magazine in the world.
Yeah.
Well, when you're the best of the best.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't think Paul just has his now on internet, right?
Paul who?
Frankel?
I don't think he does anything anymore, does he?
He does post stuff about tournaments, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like semi-monthly.
Yeah.
What do I know?
Well, he does
Don't answer
a lot
that,
of
Jim.
3 cushion stuff mostly.
All right. Well, all joking aside, why don't we get jumped into what we're going to talk about today? Let's to be honest with you, if there was ever any question as to who's winning the battle between Predator and Matchroom, has anybody really seen many updates on the Germany Open?
I get a daily update, and I've watched a little bit of it.
Yeah, I to be honest with you, I've watched almost at least the afternoon sessions. I've watched basically every single second of the World Cup of Pool. I've caught exactly 2 matches of the Germany Open.
Well, I mean, it's you know, it's where all the best players are is at the World Cup Pool right now. So that's not overly surprising.
Is that I mean the I would say the top players are, but I think if you I don't know, it's not like the Germany Open is getting some sort of B-class field. There's some monster players over there too.
I name them. I saw 3 that looked like they were stealing.
Victor Zielinski.
That's right. That's one.
Yeah,
that's one. Victor Zielinski.
Alex Kazakis.
Sanjin.
Mario He.
No, Kazakis is the World Cup of Pool.
Oh yeah, you're right. Come on, let me have this. I'm trying to cheat over here. All right, you ain't got to be so rude and call me out on all my lies. No, I
ain't gotta be.
I see what you're saying, though. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so let's talk about the World Cup of Pool. We actually have a graphic, so why don't we pull it up here? I just downloaded it. It's going to be awesome.
Cool graphics.
Yeah, I like graphics. They're fun.
Going high tech.
Well, what do you expect?
I like the one that somebody put on Facebook with all the total Fargo ratings of the teams.
That was kind of interesting.
From highest to
Phil
lowest.
Capel's graph. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, except seeing that there was a 568 player in the field.
Yeah, they're 545.
Nate, you could give him weight, Nate.
Yeah,
I would like to think so. I mean,
but that's what's nice about the World Cup. That's what's nice about any World Cup. You know, whether it be a soccer World Cup or a rugby World Cup, you're going to get players that get the opportunity to play that perhaps are not of the same kind of level, because only a 548. If you're the second best player in your country, you play at a World Cup. You know,
right?
Yeah. Right.
And that's what makes this a little even more interesting than, say, the World Pool Championship, where you've got players from all these different countries as well. And there's a lot of fodder in the field, but this is all nation related. And so, you know, you get a lot of weak links in there, and the first round of matches is pretty much proven it. I mean, it's pretty much been chalk the whole way. except for a couple matches that would be considered a little bit, one mild upset and one fairly significant one, but still not overly surprising. But the rest of them, I mean, the scores haven't even been close. So there's a lot of teams who are in this who really just don't have the talent.
Sure.
But it's still a great event. I mean, I wouldn't want them to change it.
There's a lot of teams left on the table that could put together some. I mean, just look at the Philippines. Obviously, the Philippines, mainland China, you could have as their own team. Of course, you could even start looking at like teams like Venezuela. Like you put Jesus Intencio and you throw anybody else out there with him, he's going to be more competitive than a lot of these players. In Mexico, I mean, you could throw a Mexican team in there that would be better than the Thailand team that was thrown in there for the
Peruvian.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of teams that are left on the table that could be out there. I mean, basically every single European country could basically have one. And we've seen that from the Euro tours. You'll see this 20-year-old kid that you've never even heard before, and he runs out from everywhere. Every single one of those countries could put together a team that is at least competitive, more so than some of the teams that were in here. And there's only one thing I do got to push back on you a little bit, and we haven't seen it, of course, so I'm kind of, making things up here, but 7-1 in winter break is not, I mean, by definition, it has to be a big win, but that's really nothing. At the end of the day, like, how many teams did we see break and run 4 or 5 racks in this event already?
Yeah, but we've also seen teams who lost 7-1 and 7-2, play a little bit of 3 cushion while they were at it. So, there have been some underwhelming performances for sure. And there have been some really strong performances where, it didn't matter who you were playing, you weren't going to get a shot. I mean, Great Britain A against Great Britain B is kind of, shows that they're really, that was one-sided in every sense of the word. Chris and Imran played great together, really didn't miss a shot. They didn't have too many tough shots, to be honest, other than Imran's jump shot. But those times that they had to play a little safety play, they were locking down pretty good. They had Jayson and Elliot just kind of kicking at things. So they played a really great match. There wasn't a lot Elliot and Jayson could do. Neither one of them played that well when they did have a shot to go after, but it's only 1 or 2, instances anyways.
How good do you think that felt for Chris Melling?
I think
Jim.
Well, I feel good for both of them. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I always thought that match was a bit of a 50-50 match, and but Chris and Imran are experienced players, and they would have been up for it. It was a real dangerous draw for Jayson and Elliot. It was probably the draw that they would least like to have. For Imran and Chris, it was exactly the draw that they wanted to have, to try and prove a point. And they got control of the table. They played perfect winner breaks pool. Any time that Jayson and Elliot got a little sniff at maybe getting a safety, I mean, Imran came up with a wonderful jump shot safe on the 2-ball early in the match when Elliot had played a good save, and they couldn't get into an attacking position, Elliot. And that's how you play this format, this winner breaks. You make sure that if you're always going to make these guys always going to make a ball in the break. They're not going to break dry. Not like we saw with the snooker players. With a couple of dry breaks. They know how to break properly. They'll get the first shot, and if they have to play safe, that they make it a good one. And they played great. They played the way they played the way they should be playing. They won't feel like they played fantastic. They'll feel like that's how we had to play win that match, and they kept Jayson and Elliot away from any attack because they're both very attacking players. I mean, Elliot can pop balls from anywhere. So they knew as well. They had to play sensible pool. And they did that, and it's very. There doesn't have to be a huge amount of a difference in the match to get a result like that. Elliot and Jayson didn't do much wrong. Elliot had one safety shot that he left a little bit short at the beginning of the match when he tried to come around 3 rails with the cue ball and hook along the long rail. And he just came a little bit short, and that's all it takes. These guys are going to mop him up, and they were motivated. They were playing well. I mean, there's not a lot you can do if you're stuck in your seat. Simple as that,
Yeah, I mean, Jayson made that one back cut on the 1 ball, and then ended up leaving Elliot like a half a look at something, but it's just what he did.
Exactly. I mean, they never really got the chance to get it. And it just shows you the respect that Chris and Imran have for those two as players. And as they didn't go out there thinking that Elliott would be that if they let these guys get on a roll, that the same thing could have happened to them. So I mean, it just shows the respect that they have for both of them, And no, I thought they did very well. I mean, I don't. Can I just say something? There's a Sam Elliott in the comments here. I don't know where you're getting your information from about the UK Open, but nobody was drunk and screaming at anybody. We were encouraged to make an atmosphere. We tried to do that. That was all that happened. Nobody was drunk and yelling abuse or anything. So I don't know where you're getting your information from, Sam, but you've got it all wrong, mate. Yeah. Just thought I'd put that in. But no, congratulations to. I'm delighted for Imran and Chris. Yeah. I hope they can continue to play like that because that's what's going to be needed. And they played sensible pool, and I thought they did very, very well. Yeah. It's a shame for Elliott, but I'm sure he'll be back. Elliott's a really talented kid. Everybody in the UK knows his. And he's starting to dedicate himself to pool now. He's given up his job. He's got good backing. He's got good help. He's up in Scotland at the best club in the UK. He's the pro there, and he'll be upset. He'll be devastated. They never really got the chance to show what he can do. But Chris Melling said it the best in the interview. He says this game is all about getting hit hard, and you're going to have these moments, and he just has to get up, dust himself off, and get on with it again, and look forward to the next event, which I guess will be the European Open for him as far as matching goes, and go in and get some more ranking points and make sure that he keeps improving and getting used to the situations. He'll be fine. I got no problems with Elliott. I think he'll be fine. No worries at all. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go through the bracket, I guess. Here we go. We got Germany and Netherlands cruising to a win, 7-1, 7-1. Any takeaways from either of those matches that you guys have?
Both looked really good. Both looked really strong. Didn't have a lot of pushback. So, that's the one thing too, that this format with the winner's break, and if you can get a little roll going, you can play pretty loose and pretty free when you're the favorite and you get up 3, 4, 5 games and you just don't feel like that opponent's capable of coming back on you, even though it's a short race and it's winter break. They still had to feel pretty comfortable. They both looked really good in their first round matches.
Jim, anything?
I'm reading the comments here on the thing rather than concentrating on what's going on here.
Okay. Well,
let's forget the UK Open. I mean, let's talk. This guy wants to talk about things a month ago. That's fine. I have problems with a couple people from tournaments 3 years ago, but I don't think this is where we're going to talk about it.
I just don't like spreading rumors that are completely untrue. So I don't know who this guy is, but we can talk to him privately. It's not a problem. I thought the Netherlands played really, really well. I thought Bijsterbosch looked actually the strongest out of the two. Niels missed one long ball that I can remember, and maybe a shaky on a couple of shots. But I thought they looked very, very good. It's going to be a good game against Germany. That I think that's it's amazing, this tournament, the way the draw has started and opened up. You have all these contests that are for two nations against each other. Cyprus against Greece. They've always had a little bit of a rivalry with other sports as well. Where they're located, America against Canada. You now have Germany are going to play against the Netherlands, always a big one in the football world. The two GB teams playing against each other. Amazing how the draws worked out. So there's a lot of nice matches there that are going to attract some viewers, hopefully.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think the next round is going to be a little closer, these matches.
Yeah, I think we forget how good the Netherlands is. I mean, when we were going through the discussions on this last week, we just kind of overlooked the Netherlands, and I don't really understand how we do that, because it seems like Mark Bijsterbosch, maybe he plays in 10 events a year that we end up seeing him, and it just seems like he's always in the quarterfinals. He's just always making deep runs, and he's always making big upsets, or what looks like big upsets. And how you can argue against Niels Fine? I mean, Niels is a legend of the game. In fact, on paper, I think they match up really nicely with Germany. I don't think that, obviously Josh is the wild card, and if Josh plays Josh Poole, then they're going to be pretty tough to beat no matter what. But if Josh doesn't play his elite style of pool that he obviously can and has been playing for the last 2 years, I think this is a coin flip. I mean, even if Josh plays his best pool, I think this could still be a coin flip.
Yeah, he still, even if he plays his best pool, he still needs to be supported by his partner. That's what's fantastic. That's what I love about this format about the doubles. I mean, you could be playing the best pool of your life, but if your partner's not backing you up, you're going to struggle. It's as simple as that. And that's what Rinches did very, very well last year. He just did the simple things and made sure that he was giving Josh a shot every time. And if Thorsten does the same, yeah, just play the shots to give Josh any at the table, and you're going to give yourself a very good chance, you know. And it's a good matchup. Bijsterbosch is a powerful player. You know, it's what you need at these events. He's got that big break. He's going to be smashing in 2 or 3 balls every single time. If they get a look at a ball after the break, you know, going in there thinking the same as GBB, Jason and Elliott. You know, they had a big, powerful player on their team. Keep them off the table, and if you do that, there's nothing Phil can do about it. You know.
Yep. Right. And a little bit like USA and Canada, I thought, you know, that was USA dominated that match, but when Canada did have their opportunities, which was only a few of them, they just stumbled. They didn't play with a lot of aggression. They were kind of played defensively, defensive, offensive, kind of more or less, rather than offensive, defensive.
Yeah. I got a question for you guys. I got a quick question for you guys. Knowing Shane and Skylar, do you think it was a mistake for Alex Pagulayan to go on Facebook and social media talking about how it's the Americans? And I mean, it is typical Alex. It's nice to see the players getting involved with each other on social media.
Yeah,
I don't think it's
smart to do that.
I don't think that's a big deal when it comes from Alex, because he's a clown to start with.
Right.
You know, it's not like someone who's got an attitude all the time jumping in someone's face.
Did it for
Alex,
fun.
It's comical.
Yeah,
it's probably a little bit different when someone like Imran says, you know, we eat teams for lunch, and after we beat these guys, we're going to go have some Thai curry or whatever it is. You know, that might raise a few eyebrows to a few opponents a little more than Alex making
right. They said, "Hey, nice tight pockets, good. We're glad. Let's go get them." Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's great. I think more players should do that. You know,
absolutely.
Just, you know, pick your battles, pick your audience and pick your battles. I think you know, yeah.
It was like a team spirit thing. I think that Alex did that, and he's trying, you know, get Johnny Mora up for it, and
Alex
here we
and
go.
John Mora just don't seem to be a good team.
You know,
they looked
two different personalities.
They looked listless. They looked like they didn't even know each other. You know, to a large degree, and they both played poorly, which didn't help. And you know, you could see them; they kind of looked like they didn't have any confidence in each other.
That one side shot that Alex missed was very unusual. That was not a difficult, even though he's on the rail a little bit, and Johnny didn't play real perfect position for him. That's still a shot and Alex would probably tell you that's a shot he's going to make 95% of the time or better. You know, just that time it didn't go in. But they were down.
But
that makes a difference in pool when you're down, even though you kind of grab that inner self. If you're down in a match and really now you get that fighting spirit going, you're still down, and that makes a difference psychologically in a match.
But certainly with a race to 7, if you don't get a good start, you can be in a position where you're close to losing. And as soon as you get close to losing, the mindset then changes, you know. And if you get ahead,
absolutely,
you get closer to winning. And then you start to get wings and you start to really get confident and feel good. And I think that possibly happened to Canada. You know, they didn't go off to the best start. America got away from them early. Then it becomes a real uphill battle, you know. And then you know, if you have an agreement with each other on how you want to approach the match, and then all of a sudden that changes halfway through, then you know, 2 deals a player, you know. And it's with any team sport, it's not necessarily the best players together that make the best team.
Right.
You know,
well, Mike, you've seen that your whole career, you know, where the leader really takes command of the match, whether it's pool or tennis or any other sport.
Yeah, no, it's you know, you have someone who's they have to be confident in each other, and you know what you're talking about, Jim. The match that to me was most like you're talking about with, you know, the second player getting a little more confidence and really starting to build momentum was the Finland match. I thought that once they got rolling a little bit, Mika's partner Yanni, you know,
He looked good.
Yanni,
he was lights out, and he looked comfortable. I mean, it helped that they had a lead because I think, you know, really the first half of the match to me, Mika left them a little out of line 2 or 3 times, and the kid just shot through it.
That's always Mika's game, though. I mean, that's Mika's entire career.
It is, but he's usually the one shooting the next shot, so he doesn't worry about it. Yeah. He was leaving this on a young first-time partner, and that kid didn't miss a beat. And
you want to talk about
they looked really strong and really confident in that match. They talk about keeping your opponents in your chair. They played a really smart, really good match.
But that just shows you how much confidence that Mika had in his partner as well, that he wasn't trying to change the way he plays in order to try and make it easier for his partner. You know, he was still playing Mika shots and playing Mika position and saying, well, yeah, I've got faith in you. You'll make them. I mean, Yanni Uski he's a few years ago, he looked like to me like one of the players that was going to come through and we were going to see a lot on the Matchroom stage. Massively talented player, was getting deep, and I think maybe even winning Euro Tours or Euro Championships. And he just hasn't really made that next step, you know, with having Mika, Finland, and also what was the other guy? The other guy's name, the other Finnish player who they kind of
Petri Mäkinen.
Yeah, Petri Mäkinen. They kind of blocked the door for other Finnish players, and nobody was really able to break into that. A little bit like what Nick and Niels did with the Netherlands for many years.
Yeah,
or Albin and Mario.
And Albin and Mario. Yanni, fantastic player. That's a strong team. They're going to be tough to beat.
Yeah.
Well, let's tackle this in order, I guess.
Okay.
Because we'll get to the rest of these. So Chinese Taipei over Argentina, Greece over Cyprus. I mean, there's no real surprises. I don't really have anything to say about either of those matches. Either of you?
No.
No, the Koch brothers look good. You know, they're going to get stronger as this goes on, I think.
Yeah, I think the next match is going to be, I would say, pretty good. Nikos Economopoulos, I'm telling you what, like we barely ever see him, but the dude can play. So, you know, this little quarter of the draw is not easy. It's really not easy.
Well, it shouldn't be easy. And you know, now that the seed, I mean, this aren't the top 16 seeds. Well, okay, yes, you can say the top 16, but are they that order really, 1 to 16? I don't think so. I don't think they really are that order. I don't think. I mean, no. They're all capable of beating each other, so there should be some real good matches in there now. And yeah, Greece against Chinese Taipei will be one of them.
If you want to, right after you say there shouldn't be any easy ones, I mean, if you go down to this next little part of the bracket, I don't want to say South Africa is going to be easy, but they did not play well against Thailand. And, you know, Great Britain beat, you know, on paper, they're looking like a decently, not an easy draw, but like if you had to see Great Britain be at this point in the tournament, you wouldn't be like really upset with it. But the way that they played in the first match, I would say that this is going to be the weakest part of the bracket. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I thought this was the weakest part of the bracket, even with the Philippines and
even with the Philippines.
So, you know, this to me looked like Spain's bracket to lose right out of the gate. So, you know, we'll see how that goes going forward.
That Thailand team, they're basically a couple of snooker players, correct?
Yeah, they were.
They were poor.
And there was one of them has I was listening. According to the commentary, I don't know anything about either one of them, but apparently, according to one of the commentators, that one of them has like a disorder where his body shakes. And I was watching
the South African.
For the South Africans, like that's I thought that was kind of interesting against.
Wow.
You know, how do you get like this elite at a game where your body just shakes all the time? It's crazy.
And snooker, yeah, it's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, I mean it's
nuts. Philippines had been in there as awesome as it would have been to see Efren playing. That's not a strong partnership. Efren's not the same Efren. We'd all love to see him playing, but he's not the same Efren that he used to be, obviously. So I would have South South Africa probably still to have been favourite to beat the Philippines, to be honest. Jason Theron is a monster player. He's playing great at the moment. He's had some great results in the matchroom arenas. And his partner, obviously, he backs him up okay. Not too bad. GB weren't put under any pressure in their first match. And South Africa would have felt a bit weird, set themselves up for playing against Efren, all excited. And then all of a sudden they get 2 snooker players. And a player to play against a team of snooker players, that does put a little bit of extra pressure on you because you don't want to be, you proves that pool players are still better snooker players are, and everybody's watching it. All the snooker community is watching it, hoping that the snooker players can do something. Puts a different kind of pressure, and they've had to adapt and change their mindset. So I think they'll play better in their second game. First game, you never want to go to one of these and only play one match. You want to. There's no loser side, so there is a possibility. You travel all the way from South Africa, and you get beaten your first match, and that's it. What have you come for? So they'll feel better now. They're in the tournament. They're getting their second game. GBB. Why not? Theron's a good player, and his partner backs him up, even with his shaky action. Yeah.
Well,
but yes, I agree. It looks like Spain is the strong.
Yeah. Well, let's move down to here because I'm not quite as convinced as you guys are that Spain's going to get past Albania. Albania looked really good against Italy. I mean, Australia is not a great team on paper. The best player in Australia wasn't even on Team Australia, which is kind of weird to think about. But
it's a long way to travel. It's a long way to travel for one round of matches. I might stay home too.
Exactly.
It is. But, I mean, Italy is a pretty good team, and Albania looked really great against them. I'm not convinced that Spain gets past Albania. Of course, they're on paper they're favored to, but I don't know. What do you guys think of this matchup?
Spain.
I like Spain. I like Spain easy.
Spain.
Yeah, Albania. They look good against Italy, but I don't know that pairing doesn't excite me, to be honest with you.
Sure. Okay.
The knock, a lot of knock against Kachi has been, even at Mosconi Cup has been as a team player and a doubles player, whatever. I think that if that's true, that catches up with them against a team like Spain.
Well, I guess let's go down to this one then. My favorite match to watch this entire.
I need to jump out again. I got to go back to work. Yeah, I'll leave you guys to it.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Bye, Jim.
Okay, Jim. See ya. Congratulations.
My favorite match so far by far was Estonia and Serbia. Were you able to watch that? Either of you? That was fun.
I did. That was a match of attrition.
Yeah, that was. I never saw the stats at the end of it, but I have to assume that there was between the two teams. I had to assume that there was close to 25 missed balls between the two teams.
There was 9. There were 9 missed balls for one team and 8 for another. 8 for the other.
Wow.
So that's at least, that's one a rack. So
yeah,
it's that was not a great match. And
I'm thinking of like missed safeties and stuff too.
Yeah, bad safeties, things. But just missed shots. There were 17. Yeah. So not a great match for either team.
What was the highest Fargo number of any players on that match?
Well, Dennis Graba is a great player. I mean, he's got to be the upper
but they were pretty low. They were pretty low on the list, as was Czech Republic. So they were both, in that
Serbia
20 or no Serbia. Yes,
yeah,
they were
Serbia.
both in that 20th range as far as combined Fargo ratings for the tournament. Okay. So neither one of them was in the top half, and. What I want to talk about with that match, Nate, and I'm curious to see what you thought of it, was, Dennis Grabe has a reputation as being, a little hot-headed and a little, snap type of guy. I noticed at least 2 shots that his partner missed where Dennis was up pointing his fingers as like what it should have been going around before the balls were even done rolling. I mean, we talk about the importance of team chemistry in this event. What did you think of that?
It's tough, right? Because I really like Dennis both as a person and as a competitor. But to be honest with you, I'm thinking about moving to Estonia. I want to move to Estonia and dedicate my life to playing this game so that I can partner him sometime. And after every single mistake I make, I'm just going to look at him and laugh. And I just want to see what he does. I just want to see what he does.
So, we did see a little bit of that with Shane and Sky. We saw Shane pointing on the table where he wanted Sky to put that cue ball.
No, that's before the shot. I'm talking about
that's before the shot. Correct.
I'm talking about after the shot when you're correcting someone on what they should have done.
I see.
That was,
of course they're speaking. I don't know what is that Estonian? I don't know what the language is.
Wow,
Consider
really
me
probably their native language. Most of the teams were speaking their native languages.
Yeah.
But what's Estonia's native language? Is it? Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm asking. Is there an Estonian language? I don't know. This is me being an ignorant American and not knowing culture. But I mean, look, you know what you're getting into, right? You know what you're getting into when you're playing with Dennis. To be honest, I thought the commentators were really disrespectful to him. I mean, I understand that like he has the kind of reputation and blah blah blah, but the commentator spent almost 2 full racks basically just dogging him and his partner last year, Mark. What was his partner last year?
Dennis' partner last year.
Yeah, the younger guy. It's
Yeah, I don't remember.
It'll come to me in a second, but they spent almost 2 full racks just dogging him. It's
this was last year, or this was yesterday?
No, this was last year. Apparently, when they made the semifinals last year, apparently Dennis and his partner had a big altercation where they were just basically yelling at each other, and then they spent almost 2 full racks in the commentary just talking about how they're arguing. Maji.
Mark Maji.
Yeah, Mark Maji. Yeah, I knew it was Mark. Okay,
thank you, Mike.
Yeah, go Mike. They spent 2 racks just talking about how these two are fighting with each other, and they're basically trying to create the dynamic in the commentary box that we're waiting for a boxing match to break out.
You didn't think that was a story?
Well,
I would have spent 2 racks talking about that too, because people can watch the play-by-play. I want to know the dynamic that's going on between 2 players, because that's what makes a team tournament interesting. That's what makes it fun to watch. That's why you have them mic'd up, things like that. So I would have liked to have the mic turned up a little more and have a little, the translation subheads underneath with what they're saying to each other.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. Is what it is, but I guess looking at that match, that's a very interesting thing when you're watching every mistake that's made. Dennis's, not every mistake, but there was a couple. I remember 2 situations where I want to say his partner followed off of a ball. He ended up missing it, but he ended up following off a ball and Dennis is pointing at the rail over here saying you should have drew off of it with spin. And yeah, I mean, I guess
there's a time and a place to do that. It's probably back when you're sitting in the chair, not standing up, pointing at the table while the balls are still rolling, and your partner
when the ball literally just missed the pocket. Yes. Yeah, right. It's very interesting. But
that was my takeaway from that match.
I think it'd be a lot of fun to just be good enough to partner with Dennis Grabe and just see if I could get him to try to swing at me by the end of the event. Just every mistake I can make, just be like, "Yeah, what's up, Dennis? Yeah." I don't. I guess let's talk about the other one, because I mean, this is on. I mean, if there's an upset of the match or the tournament, it's obviously Austria and Finland.
Right.
Mike, what do you think? Do you think they made a mistake by going with Max Lechner instead of
No,
Mario?
I don't know that it would have made it. I mean, Max didn't look comfortable, and unfortunately, in a couple times, now that Max has gotten into the Matchroom arena, he has not played well. But Albin missed a shot as well. They were chasing right from the start. It was a lot of pressure on them. I don't know if Mario He as a partner, changes the dynamic of that match or the finish of that match. Maybe he does. Who knows? But Max has earned his spot to be on the team and didn't play well. So I don't know that it was a mistake. It just didn't turn out well for them. And Finland played jam up. I mean, you just can't say enough about how well the old guy and the young guy played together in that match. Mika's a good player. When Mika's ahead like that and confident, he's a good player to play with. And he's looked really good this year already in the past, year and a half. So, he's firing on all cylinders right now. So, and I love watching. You got to love watching him play because they're not ducking; they're firing at everything. So, it's. I'm looking forward to that next match. I like them. I like them against Estonia, for sure.
You got the two fieriest players playing against each other next round in Mika and Dennis. So there should be some good dynamic there, right? Should be. Yeah,
these matches will be tomorrow then?
I believe. Well, this one is definitely not playing today, so we're down to eight competitors. So they're going to be 2 matches that are in this. Yeah, so all of the second round matches should be done tomorrow, I believe.
Right.
Yeah. All the second round matches will be done tomorrow. So I guess let's, unless we have anything else, let's move on down to this, which was the matches this morning. Vietnam, actually, I didn't watch all of that match. I watched just a little bit. I caught the tail end of it when I woke up. I haven't gone back and watched yet. Qatar looked, really out of their element. It was nice to see Waleed Majid because, he is such a great gentleman and a really good person and, pretty good player too. But that team just looked like they didn't belong on the stage.
Yeah.
I guess Vietnam, to be honest, I was pretty impressed with Vietnam. Like I said, I only watched a little bit of that one, the tail end of it, but I thought Vietnam played really well.
Yeah, they missed a couple opportunities. They really, could have had this match, and then got out of line at the end to make it hill, and he barely missed a jump shot. He got every part of the corner pocket except the bottom, and so they gave up. But they did have their chances to win that match.
I will say this: there was one match that was one game that was really interesting to me, and it's kind of nice to see this happen because you're not really much of a player, Mike, well, at all, but Rob,
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Rob, you ever have like those games where you're just down to the 9-ball or 10-ball, and you both just have like 9 innings at the 9-ball, and you just can't put the ball away?
Greatest snooker match of all time was that
6-2,
the final black.
Yeah, the final black. I saw a match like that with the snooker. Yes,
the match at 6-2. I want to say, I know that Singapore had at least 3 opportunities, and I think Qatar got it down on the 4th shot. I think they got it down. So they had 7 innings at the last 9-ball. Something about that's kind of refreshing. It's not like it's not like just us that struggle with this.
Pool in its essence, being played on a small surface. It's not like some other games where the surface you're playing on is 50 yards long or 20 yards long, or there's a lot of room. Pool is a confined sport. And when something negative starts happening with one of the players, there is a tendency for that to feed and to be kind of all encompassing in this small area that you're on. And all of a sudden it's catchy. And both players, I've been there, where all of a sudden both players played like they never had a pool cue in their hand before. And we saw it in the Moscone Cup with Tyler's match where they missed the 8-ball 3 times in one match, in one game, both players. And so there is a little bit of that happens in pool. And you just scratch your head and you say to yourself as a player at that point, how can I be doing this? How can this be happening to me? It can be happening to my opponent, but how come me? So yeah, that is a phenomena in the game. And I believe it's because of the physical shape and size of the playing field you're on. It's a small playing field.
Yeah, there's something refreshing about seeing that. I don't know. Made me feel good. It doesn't just happen to me.
Well, it's like when a professional golfer shanks a shot, hits it directly right into a tree or something. I mean, all us amateurs go, all right.
Yeah. So, okay, if we can move on, Hungary and the Czech Republic. Obviously, Japan and Switzerland are going to be playing very, very soon. Anything that you got from Hungary and Czech Republic?
Nope.
Yeah, neither. Okay, so Poland, Hong Kong. Yeah, I mean, Poland looked good. Hong Kong looked good. I mean, that jump length of the table bank that blah blah blah
Lo Ho-sum.
Yeah, Lo Ho-sum made. I mean, that shot was sick. That was absolutely disgusting. I mean, wow, what a shot. That shot doesn't go on day 3 because it's not slippery enough, but that doesn't take away from the shot. It was absolutely sick with positioning too. So I mean, Lo Ho-sum, he's riding a wave right now. He looks really good, and I hope it sticks because he seems to have a really nice, colorful attitude towards the game. He's personable. He's happy-go-lucky. I hope to see him stick around and really break into that top tier of players. It'd be pretty cool.
Well, it's a really talented young team. I mean, him and Robbie Capito.
Robbie Capito's a great player.
It was a tough draw for them. Tough draw for them in the first round. Because you'd like to have seen them play a couple of times and watched his young kids get a little bit loose on the table. But Poland, that's a tough draw in the first round, and for the U.S., it's a tough draw in the second round.
Yeah, they're going to be playing today. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think there's a third match on today.
Yeah, last match this afternoon.
So
Nate, let's have it, Nate. Who you picking, Poland or the U.S.? This is your big match here.
Yeah. Speak.
You can't dodge. You can't dodge that question.
I'll pick the USA in this.
Nate turn tail and run.
I think Sky and Shane are really a good team together.
You turn tail and run, huh?
Yeah. No, I gave you my pick. Didn't you hear it?
No.
I hear it. I picked.
He did it again.
Yeah.
Did you get it that
no
time?
matter what happens, you're going to be wrong.
We got it that time, Nate. Yeah.
Who do I think is going to win? Who am I rooting for, or who do I think is going to win?
Both. Is that who you're rooting for, or who you think is going to win?
That's who I'm rooting for. Of course, that's who I'm rooting for. You clown. Although
you're a big Poland backer. I mean,
if there is one team that it's like my home away from home, I got to go to Poland. Yeah,
you owe them at this point. Here you go.
Yeah.
I got my Poland jersey, baby. Polska.
Well, if you want to go to Poland, Nate, I know the fella that'll take you with him when he goes, because he goes every single year. And he's from Wisconsin.
There it is.
It's going to be a great match. That one, you want to get in front in that match.
I believe so. 3 games in front, at least, maybe more.
I will say this. If the U.S. jumps out to a 2-0 lead, or if the U.S. can get a lead in the beginning, I believe that the U.S. will win. If it's a back and forth, I think Poland is going to win.
Interesting.
Because
I just think that Poland is. I just think that they hold up better
in a dogfight.
I do. Yeah. Given the dynamic of that team, I do.
I think the breaking is going to be the difference in this, and Shane's the best breaker.
Well, it's interesting though, because
I'll tell you what, Wojtek breaks the balls pretty well. He breaks them pretty well. It's also
Shane's break in the first match was not good against Canada. He had 3.
His first one
was perfect.
He lost
his next 3 is cue ball was on the bottom rail all 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And he broke dry once, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I think did he break or he scratched? He scratched in the bottom corner pocket.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was.
So yeah, he had 3 breaks in a row that were not, not really good breaks. So knowing Shane, he spent 12 hours last night and this morning breaking.
Right.
So
I don't know how much
there
good that does.
was one key shot in that rack where the other team played safe and left a very, very small window between two balls for Sky. And the shot was a full-length table shot from one end of the table. The object ball was just past the side pocket, up in the corner, right between these two balls, and Sky nailed it. Put it center hole, and they got out
late in
that
the game.
rack.
It might have been the last rack or the rack before. It might have been the last rack.
Yeah.
And yeah, Sky didn't miss. He played really solid.
He did.
Really solid.
Yeah.
They both
I agree.
didn't miss, that match.
Does that mean that you two are both taking USA for this match?
I am.
Okay. Well, I'm going to hedge. I gave 2 scenarios. I think if it gets down to 5-5 hill somewhere in there, I think Poland wins. If it's a shootout, then I think the USA will win. If it's just like who's going to run out better, I think the US runs out better. But if it goes back and forth, there's a safety battle in there. I like Poland from there, but we'll see. Who knows?
Is it possible with the way the brackets are that the Co-Brothers and USA end up in the finals?
Yep.
Yes.
That is possible?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
It is, sir. So, okay. Well, I guess let's.
Do you want to talk one other subject?
Well, the one thing
I
just
feel like we have to touch on
about the production of this, and I just think that the camera work and the amount of different angles that we get to see as fans and viewers of the particular strokes and shots and the way the balls are spinning, we get really close-up looks at what happens to the cue ball after it hits the rail, depending on where the cue ball is struck. And I'm just in awe of that we can see that cue ball is hitting the rail. Somebody gives it a little right-hand English, you think the cue ball is going to hit the rail and come off to the right. Well, it doesn't. It comes off the rail and it kind of clunks around a little bit as it comes down the table. Sure. And that's what these players are dealing with. They're not dealing with the perfectly accurate rebound. And Jeremy Jones made a comment on a 2-rail kick by one of the other players in the match that I watched, where he said, now watch it when it comes off that second rail, because it's not going to spin as much. It's going to come back up the table. And that's exactly what happened. He called that miss on that 2-rail kick. And I think that takes more than just one match on that table to get used to that kind of stuff for even though these players are the best in the world.
It's almost like Jeremy knows what he's talking about. It's crazy.
Yeah, it does seem like Jeremy does know what he's talking about.
And all the players have said that playing on the practice table and going out to the arena table is like night and day. It's, so it's like a gravel road to an ice rink. So
right,
there's some things that they have to negotiate. So,
but I love the camera work. The close-ups and the angles and
they do a great job.
They really do a good job.
But they really get too cute sometimes. Like they really, really get way too cute. For example, on the we just talked about a little bit ago, the jump shot for Loho Sum. When he made that shot, we didn't know if he made the shot or not because the cue ball or the camera was focused
I saw that too.
We had to see an overhead to find out whether or not he made the ball or look at his body language. Like, I'm sorry, but if you're shooting a jump shot, a jump bank shot, and you're looking, your cue ball is like zooming in on a cue ball. What is like? And they had another situation where it was another great shot. It was like another. I don't remember if it was a bank shot or if it was a safety shot, but like the cue ball was spinning, and they zoomed in on the cue ball spinning, and we missed the ball. What happened with the object ball? And we had to like watch it on the overhead to find out what actually happened on it. Like,
I see.
I get the idea that that's cute. Like you're getting too cute by half. We don't need to see a cue ball spinning when we don't know the outcome of the shot.
Yeah,
and that's the only complaint I have. But the camera work is, if
it's a little bit of you can't please all the people all the time.
that's just bad camera work.
Don't get the
no one's pleased with bad camera work. So
yeah, don't get the cute shot and miss the actual shot of the that's actually being executed there.
I really like when they get the camera view of the jump shots when they're behind the player, so that you can see that right wrist or the left wrist if they're left-handed or whatever it is, and the action of the wrist on the jump shot. That's really important to see that happening. That's the physical aspect of creating a jump shot.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. The camera work's been great, except for a few of those blunders. But let's move on to our last topic, because of course this is going to be starting up again in 13 minutes, and we don't need to be here talking about it when it's going on. So the commentary. I love Raleigh. I'll start it out. I love Raleigh, and he, for full disclosure, he reached out to me about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he asked me some advice on some commentary. And I said, just be yourself. Like, at the end of the day, like, Raleigh Williams is the person that he is because we have fallen in love with who Raleigh Williams is. His humor, his sarcasm, his self-deprecation, his everything that you want in a good comedian. He is. Like, he embodies that. He is a very, very, very likable person. And what I told him from the beginning is just be yourself, man. Like, people obviously like you for who you are. Don't be somebody that you're not. And I think on the first day, they put him up for failure when you're putting him up. Well, and I actually reached out to him and talked to him about this. He said that Jeremy Jones couldn't actually hear his commentary. So when they were talking, like, he couldn't hear Raleigh Williams when they were in the booth with him, JJ, and Carl. And every joke, like, Raleigh would make, every like little jab or whatever, Jeremy wouldn't even react to. And like that,
it was talking about getting hung out to dry. I mean, I didn't know the mic wasn't working, but I heard that, and it was like, geez, throw him just a courtesy guffaw now and then, just for
it really made things tense. Yeah. I mean, it made things really, really, really tense. And I'm sure that made him even more nervous when, he makes a little joke or something like that, and all he hears is crickets.
But listen, anyone who's met Raleigh likes him and knows what a genuine, nice, smart, funny person he is. That said, commentating a match, I mean, obviously he's not going to give you analysis of the shots. So he's in there
for a while,
and that he shouldn't even do that. So, he's like you said, you try to be yourself. And I just feel like he's been trying to, he's just not been confident in himself. And he hasn't, what you want in commentators is to every one of them to have their own voice. And he hasn't established what his voice is yet when it comes to commentating these pool matches. Perhaps based on what his background is, he might have been better off doing things like sideline interviews or little pre-taped segments with some players or fans, where he could get into that type of humor that he does. But to me, and some of you guys probably aren't even old enough to remember this, but it kind of reminded me when Monday Night Football put Dennis Miller in the box, who was one of the great comedians of America at the time, and he was an absolute disaster in the box because you're trying too hard to shoehorn some humor in to find someplace to fit it in, and it's got to be natural. It's got to come naturally. I admire Matchroom for going on a limb and giving him a shot, and I admire him for having the stones to get in there and give this a whack. And whether they use him again or not, who knows? That's their decision. I think that he's got a lot of talent and a lot to offer, and he's a very funny guy. He just needs to find the right, and they need to find the right place for him. And in-match commentary just might not be that. Although even in the studio shots that they've done, he's looked like he's forcing it a little bit and throwing out cliches, and he just needs to loosen up and be himself because he is a really talented, funny, smart, engaging guy. So you'd like to see it work because it's an element that I'd like to see added to the broadcasts.
Sure.
But it's been a rough start.
But I will say this: I used to love Phil Yates. I can't stand him anymore. You can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, Mike can't hear us. I can't stand Phil Yates. I mean, you want to talk about like the stuff that he says. The stuff that he says. Like for example, that game that I was talking about earlier between Singapore and Kuwait. Like, and I'm blanking on the older guy's name, but who's playing with Aloysius, but he's down on a shot, and it's like he's bridging off of the rail. The 9 ball is almost in the exact center of the table, and he's got like a gentle little back cut, but you're shooting the ball 11 feet. And he's down on the shots. Like he's a wily old veteran. He's been scarred and he's nervous. And let's see if his nerves hold up. And he ends up like shooting the ball just a little bit above the pocket. And it's like, and he's like, oh, nope, he couldn't hold up. He let his nerves get to him. He choked, basically is what he's saying. And like, do you know anything about this game? Like, I don't care who it is. You can set up Joshua Filler on that shot and let him shoot it 10 times. And at best, he's going to make it. You know,
he ain't gonna make it every time. No,
he's gonna make it 6 out of 10 times probably. Like that shot is absolutely brutal, and you're basically saying that this guy's choking because he's missing one of the hardest shots you can possibly have in pool.
Who said that, Nate?
Phil Yates.
No.
Oh, Phil Yates. Okay.
Yeah, like the stuff that he's like. I used to love Phil Yates as a commentator, but like he's gotten so much more aggressive with like his commentating, and he dogs on the players. I feel like so much more in the last year or two, and like. Shots that are not easy at all. He's like looking at them and being like, oh, he's got to make this. This is, this is where you make your bread and butter. The shot is like 50-50 at best.
Yeah.
And his reaction is to crap on them and say, he dogged it. He choked it. He can't hold up under pressure. Like, go back and listen to that. His commentary at 6-2, Kuwait and Singapore, and listen to what he says to the old guy on that one. Luhan. Like,
well,
the guy
Jeremy tells it like it is, more or less, because they're early on in one of the matches. The very first shot of the match was after the break was a straight in 2 ball up in the corner from rail to rail, basically dead straight. And Jeremy flat out said, "This shot looks real easy because it's straight in, but guess what? This shot is not that easy." And it wasn't, and he missed it.
We all know what Jeremy brings to the table. I mean, he's so good analytically. And Carl is too, although I think Carl does the best job of blending that analysis and commentary and color.
Carl could play any role.
Yeah, he's got the whole package.
I like those two together for sure. Hey, I'm going to throw this out there. The other day, and I've never played this kind of game in pool in my life. I played a 3-way race in 8-ball to 13. Okay? You get it? Winner breaks, 3-way race. That's you, me, and Mike here.
So
playing 8-ball, race to 13. So the winner breaks. So if you lose, you sit out one game, and then you get back in the mix. And this format was the absolute most fun of any pool match I've ever played. You play individual, but 3 people at the table at one time.
It's kind of interesting.
The final score, honest, Nate, I played with 2 guys from the Bahamas who have just moved here to my area. They're English style stance snooker type players and decent players. The final score was 13-12-11.
Fun.
Cool.
And it is cool, and it was like when there's one guy ahead, maybe 2 or 3 games ahead, the other 2 players go, well, guess what we got to do now?
Not lose.
Yeah, we got to make sure that guy doesn't win any more games. And
we do need to get wrapping up here because that's
just got to throw that out there for people if there's 3 guys around and they're thinking about playing a game.
Yeah,
this is
all right. Well, one word question or 1 word answers, no more. Ready? Germany or Netherlands? Mike.
Germany.
Germany.
Okay, I'm going to go with the Netherlands as an upset. Taipei, Greece.
Taipei.
Taipei.
Taipei. South Africa, Great Britain B.
Great Britain B.
Great Britain B.
Also Great Britain B. Albania, Spain.
Spain. Going chalk.
Oh. Spain.
Oh, it's not a word, so we'll let you get away with it.
Spain.
All right. I'm gonna go with, whatever. I'm gonna go Albania. Why not? Finland, Estonia.
Finland.
Finland.
Finland. Kuwait, Singapore.
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 Kuwait. Japan, Switzerland.
Japan.
Japan.
I will go with Switzerland. So then Japan /
Nate, you are something else.
Switzerland's good, man. I'm telling you, Ronald Regle, he's playing some really good pool. All right, so the winner of this match versus Hungary.
The winner.
Yeah, winner.
I'll take Switzerland out there too. Poland, USA.
Stars and Stripes.
USA.
That's more than one word. That's a loss.
And you're taking Poland.
I will take I'm going to take the USA too. I think the USA is going to pull it out. All right, there we go. We're closed out for today. Head over to DAZN, watch yourself some Japan and Switzerland, and we're on the book. So let's see who is right next week. Yeah.
Okay,
Great.
This starts now in how long?
1 minute.
1 minute. So
Okay.
off we go.
We're
All right.
watching.
Thanks everybody for tuning in this week, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks.
Yeah, see you, fellas. Nice to see you again, Mike.